Hi everyone. I want to share a movie commentary and discussion about The Last Detail. Yes, I have seen it before. I'm rewatching it again, directed by Hal Ashby. This movie came out 51 years ago, back in 1973. Fun fact, Randy Quaid and Carol Kane, both of them were a lot younger back then. Who remembers watching this movie on TV or at your local theaters in 73? I remember there's these two Navy police officers, Bud Dusky and Mule, are taking Meadows to a prison that's a Navy in the States. I also want to talk about how Daryl P. came up with an idea for a book that inspired him to write. Daryl P. had experience. Some of his family members were in the Navy, worked as Navy PD, and someone got dishonorable discharge, tote $40, or maybe the author had a lot of experience in the Navy before, entertaining moments after the book got so popular. How Ashby decided, hey, let's do an adaptation, put Jack Nicholson, Otis Young, and young Randy Quaid before he was in National Lampoon's Vacation as Cousin Eddie. Randy Quaid's character Meadows, he was a military criminal, not in real life, but just only in this movie. Fun fact about this classic film, Jack Nicholson and Otis Young, two actors, got into characters. This is just a theory. Both of them did a lot of training as Navy officers to prepare for this role. Now, just be honest. Who remembers watching it? Do you still remember it today? A lot of people, again, in the 70s, might remember this Jack Nicholson film. The other half of modern movie fans, yes, they can enjoy watching classic films. If it's your type of movie, you're welcome to give it a chance and check it out sometimes. Production design was a lot different in the 70s versus now. Another fun fact, not just from the last detail, in the Navy, let's say you want to become a Navy police officer, you would have to do a lot of training. The procedures were a lot different then versus now. There have been a lot of movies about military branch police officers before. I think what this movie is trying to focus on, two Navy officers were thinking, okay, I understand that Meadows is young and he's in his early 20s. Let's go have fun for one last time before we have to send Meadows to a prison somewhere. That's what they did from the middle and at the end of the movie. Even though it can be targeted for young adults, it was probably more for older adults back then. Not a lot of teenagers or kids saw it at the theaters. Reminds me more of a military comedy drama film. Be honest, what's your favorite military comedy movie you've seen before? It's on Amazon Prime. It was a low budget of 2,300 million. Again, back in that time, if you want to make like a cool movie, it didn't really cost. Let's say, oh, here's a budget of 2 million. It can gross and become a hit depending on what type of movie you're going to make. It was before Carol Kane was in The Princess Bride. You learned something new if you didn't know this before. I learned another thing. Depending on what type of military movie Hollywood is making, let's pretend if it's getting set in 1975, you have to figure out what was military branch in the 70s like before. And before I go, make sure to give it a chance and a try. There was Fantastic Four reference. Movie fans, if you don't know what the last detail is, go on IMDb. If you don't believe me, it did okay at the box office. Shout out for Jack Nicholson fans. That's all I want to share. Bye, everyone.